go, bro. We're live. Let's go, motherfuckers. I got 0 viewers all the fucking time, bro. Fuck. Fuck me, nigga. I got laser locked. 2 seconds. Warlock's my worst. How did that happen, bro? How the fuck did I take a fucking game for this break? I went to work for 6 months, come back. Warlock's my fucking like best teammate. Not even my worst. I don't get this game. It's like I feel so weak. Like the classes got more to it, but it's not as strong. god. You gotta be the fuck careful, dude. Shut up, like you the best should've got it on. I do. Fucking magic damage, dude. Slow down. Rock. The fuck? Fuck. Boy. Yee. That's my niggas. Get on that G shit. Get on that G train, baby. beast mode. Fuck, dude, I could not get a fucking shot off on that warlock, bro. Like, you run away from me. Quit fucking running away from me, fucking nigga. I'll literally heal you right through those fucking goddamn band. Fuck. Quit fucking running. Warlock's like running from me, bro. It's something, nigga. If I stop fucking literally attacking for 1 second, I die, bro. I hate playing with warlocks. Jesus, fuck, you guys are terrible. Fuck. So who's the one that's pissed? this shit for me, bro. Holy fuck, I am getting clapped. Fuck. Damn it. It's already like so fucked. I'm gonna go down like fucking 30 for this. Piece of shit game. Fuck! Boom! I'm gonna fucking punch my monitor. Get the fucking bitch off of me, man. I cannot go toe to toe to fucking goddamn Windwalker like that, bro. Man. Shit. Down 51 rating. Nice. Fuck, this game is honestly trash sometimes. Like, dude. Masterpiece. Fuck me, dude. God damn it, I hate solo queues, bro.
You're really good at them. You're a god. And you want to invest your time into a game, and you want to have it pay off.
Mortals, I present a lucrative opportunity for those who prove themselves worthy of the task. Many in the cartel are wagering on who are the greater combatants. Care to influence the outcome?
Which game is going to get you more e-girls? Valorant or World of Warcraft? Or fucking literally any other game besides WoW. And also, you can't make any money playing the game. The ceiling for like a competitive WoW PvP player is getting 1,000 viewers, winning tournaments for $1,000, and reading 1,000 comments about how you're a piece of shit. So why would anybody do it?
I mean, World of Warcraft is not a very accessible game. You know?
No, it's not.
Here's the biggest problem with World of Warcraft, okay? Like, kids these days are like mega dreamers. I find myself I'm like this. I just want, like, this is the TikTok age, you know? Like, we want our instant gratification. We don't have to, like, want to do anything. Like, for instance, okay?
Well, he's right. Why would somebody want to have to jump through 50 different hoops just to be able to play an arena game? Whenever, if they want to play League, they just play League. They don't have to worry about it. They don't have to think about it. They just play the game. Makes sense, really.
Let's do a little thought experiment, okay? A little thought experiment. Okay? Imagine you're a kid and you're looking for a new video game. Right? You're browsing YouTube and you see two games. The first game you see is World of Warcraft.
Here we go.
Okay?
Yeah.
And you're watching Peekaboo, and he's on his sub-rogue, and oh my god.
He's calling out all of his abilities like he's on a fucking anime. Yep.
Why? Peekaboo is making plays.
He is.
He's shotting this guy. Yeah,
he's going
this
crazy.
Guy. He's blind-shotting that guy. He's one-shotting that guy. He's a hero. He's a legend.
Yeah.
He's the two-time.
Literally the cast bar
needs
to
fucking, wow.
Like, it needs a cast
like
before it
Peekaboo
even hits the end of the bar,
so
you know what I'm saying? The bar needs to, like, fucking lie a little bit.
Try World of Warcraft.
Bar needs to
well, it's also, like, I think that a lot of people get into esports because they want to get acknowledged for being good at something. I think that it's a lot of, like, it's a lot of young bucks, a lot of guys that want to come in and they want to pop off and they want everybody to see how fucking good they are. Sounds sad? I think that's the reason why a lot of people get into competitive stuff, right? Yeah, that's how it is. And, why is he pixelated? Oh, this was on Twitch. And you have to understand that Twitch's highest bitrate is designed for a Nokia phone. So, yeah, that's why the bitrate for this is low. Anyway, so people want to play a game that they're going to get acknowledged for being really good at this game. They want to be the next Faker. They want to be the next fucking Tarek, right? Or Asu, like one of these like really, really popular, the next Shroud. People aren't trying to be the next World of Warcraft player. The next Peekaboo, the next Venruki. That's just the truth. There's no girls, there's no fame, and there's no fortune. That's a big fucking reason.
Man, that sounds awesome. I want to play Sub-Rogue. So you buy World of Warcraft. You download World of Warcraft. You make your character, and then you're like, wait, what? Can I just play Arena?
No.
You have to level. Okay, well, when I get level,
you level the fun.
And then you level up. Okay, level up your rogue.
Now can I play?
Okay, can I play now? No. Can't play now. Now you have to grind. And on top of grinding honor gear, you also get farms like this.
That's right.
You have to write intelligence. and embellishments. Well, embellishments
You have to understand there's a system.
single editions.
Yeah.
And actually your gear that makes you a lot more powerful. And if you don't have them, you're probably screwed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess
Okay,
I'll
just
do
go
that
get
too.
those.
So what do I need to do? A campaign? Get on the campaign.
now
do
you-
it up.
yeah.
Right. Now that you got your gear, you know what you're doing, and
Yeah.
you need to accomplish. Don't worry.
Well, we need to get the enchants too, though, for the gear also. Keep that in mind. You gotta enchant the gear, get gems for it, all that.
We're way behind on gear,
Fuck.
and you're at a big disadvantage, but
Man.
it's really no problem. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
you're actually really screwed
God.
because you don't have any add-ons. Okay, so
Oh.
what you really need to do is you need to go download
Yeah.
a program called CurseForge.
Yeah, you have to download a program to download more programs for the game, so you can play the game.
Okay, now download CurseForge, and you can get these different add-ons, okay? So you're
Uh-huh.
gonna need S Arena so you can track all your diminishing returns.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to set up
Write
Tell Me
these
When
down.
so you can see like when your abilities and procs
Uh-huh.
are to do optimal damage. You know,
Right,
you're
of
gonna need to
course.
set up Omni CD so you can see your teammates' abilities. You can set
Naturally.
up Omni Guard so you can track the enemy abilities.
Of course.
And then on top of that,
Yeah.
you need to get details. So whenever you get
Yeah,
one
of
shot,
course.
try to figure out which one you immediately.
Right. You can go back over that.
Okay, now let me know when you get all of that.
Yeah, so you have to get all that, and then also not only download it, right, but you also have to set it up.
Okay, great. Now your gear still sucks, so you're
Yeah.
gonna have to grind that up to be on an even playing field.
Yeah.
And I know
Nobody
you're
wants
just
to
getting one shot all over the place, but you're gonna figure it out eventually. And that's why you need to download Mez's Vigor package.
Oh, there's another. Oh, there's a weak. Oh, we forgot about the weak core package. So that's a set. Yeah, true.
Even though you're not exactly
True.
sure what's gonna kill you, when enough horns and whistles go off, you're gonna
Yeah.
figure it out. Okay, and then it's okay, like that's why.
Well, he wasn't even halfway done. And then the best part is you do all of the things that you could do, and you're like, all right, it's time to play arena. Well, I guess I'll join this group. Decline. Well, can I play these guys? No, decline. Nobody will play with you
I can't stand
because you don't have any rating. You don't have achievements that go back 10 years.
people are a little intimidated when it comes to World of Warcraft.
Yeah, you gotta
PvP.
play solo shuffle.
Now,
exactly.
imagine that same person tunes into like a Counter-Strike tournament,
Yeah.
and he's watching Fraud. Fraud, I probably hasn't played in a million years, but that's all I know. And he's watching Fraud from Complexity from 2008, op people. And he's like, oh my god, Fraud's so good at opping, I want to op. And then he downloads the game and starts playing,
Yep.
and that's it. The end. You know, like, it's a pretty jarring comparison.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the biggest obstacle when it comes to World of Warcraft PvP. What's up, Doggy?
And people can appreciate being good at Counter-Strike. Like somebody who has never played Counter-Strike can watch you get a headshot really fast and be like, nice, good one. Somebody that sees you make a really good play in WoW is like, the game's over and they're like, well, did you win?
The biggest obstacle when it comes to World of Warcraft is very difficult. An MMORPG, listen, I have to give a lot of credit to the developer. For us, who've been around for a long time, the gearing process has gotten a lot better over time.
It has.
You know what I mean? I do think there's a lot of positive to this expansion. That's what we're doing a good job making it.
No matter who
But that doesn't change the fact that it is extremely complicated to play the game. If you were
Well, it's also the game is super complex. Like that's it, and also like not like maybe World of Warcraft shouldn't be an esport. Like not every game needs to be an esport.
new player in World of Warcraft, good luck.
It's an MMO.
You know, so that's why I think a lot of people, as sad as it is to say, and I think it's important to at least admit this because then maybe in the future we can move forward and make it better for people to try World of Warcraft and play PvP because that would be ideal. But I think it's important to admit that
If they want people to try PvP and play WoW again, they need to cut out literally 80% of all the buffs and debuffs and probably 50% of the abilities. Just flat out reduce
Fuck.
CC by like 6.
Why can't Warlocks just live like 20 seconds longer, bro?
70%.
Like, bro, I had my shit up. Needed to leave.
The game is fucking fried, man. They're absolutely fucking fried. Like, I showed it. Do I still have it up? Look at this. What the fuck is this? What the fuck? It's still there. Meanwhile, in Classic WoW, there's like 2 debuffs, and that's it.
It's a lot easier for people to just play other games. You just log on and play. That's it. Like, you just play League, you just play Dota, you play Counter-Strike, you just play one. The issue is the elitism. The elitism shouldn't even exist though. I think when I play Overwatch, I care about the elitism. No. I just queue up and I can play.
Yeah.
I download Overwatch and I play. There's no elitism. I just get ranked. There's enough people playing where I can queue, and if I suck, I get put into bronze. And if I'm pretty good, then I get put into, gold. Or if I'm a little better than good, I get to be diamond. You know what I mean? I'm just playing against people that are relatively skill level. There's no elite.
Victory is clear.
And the only reason there's elitism is because I feel like the community is relatively small, so it's hard to actually get. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I think solo shuffle. This is actually what I believe. I believe, and people are going to hate me for saying this, I believe the future of WoW PvP is solo.
Oh, he's completely right. He's 100% right. Nobody wants to have to log on and wait for 2 other people to get on to be able to play the game in any sort of a competitive way.
I hope I got 0-6.
Absolutely.
And I think there is a lot of
and
things
also,
that,
like, it's obvious that it's the future. Because everybody's playing solo shuffle and nobody's playing arena. So why is it that everybody, as soon as you gave them a solo queue option, they all quit playing arena? There you go.
that need to be done to make it as ideal as possible. But I'm telling you, a solo queue mode is the only reason that I feel like World of Warcraft gains popularity in PvP. And I think in Season 1 of...
I think that it is impossible for WoW to gain popularity in PvP unless they completely revamp the game. I'm talking about like bigger than Cataclysm, bigger than Legion. I'm talking about back to basics, all the way back to like vanilla WoW, and build up from there. It's too much. It's just like nobody is going to watch this shit. Reset everything.
When people play solo shuffle, and people get excited to subscribe and love people queuing, people finally got to play the game. We have so many people that want to play PvP that they just sit in LFG all day long.
And it's also like another little minor thing is like, you know, one of the reasons why people don't like playing arena is tanks in arena. Have you ever played an arena game against a tank and had fun? Because I haven't. Played the game 15 years, I've never had fun. Yep, as a tank? Yes, exactly. Tanks really aren't a problem, and I'm through 700 games without seeing a tank. Until they are. Yeah, they should not let you queue tank specs into arena. They're not fun to play against. In a way that is completely unique to tank spec. Tanking is designed for dragons, not players.
And then they play one game at LFG, and then they get kicked out of the group and then get back to LFG. So solo shuffle is actually like there's lots of playing. Oh my god, I've got an hour.
Yeah.
I'm gonna log on. I'm gonna play some solo
They'll
shuffle.
be able to queue for one.
Great, I'm in this game. I get to play. It's fun. I'm gaining my rating. I'm getting my rewards. This is amazing. And then obviously in season 2, with like ratings being increased and stuff like that, I feel like there's a little bit of popularity. It'll pick back up now that they've added some ratings and stuff like that. But
No matter who.
yeah, I really feel like a solo queue mode actually is like the future of
Fuck
WoW.
me,
I know you guys hate me saying that. Like I don't even want to admit it to myself, but unless there's like some better way for people to queue threes, it's always going to be this thing where it's like you have such an extremely difficult time to play unless you already have friends, which lots of people don't, or unless you're already heavily invested in the community, which a lot of people aren't, you know?
It's also that the hardcore players, like the ceiling gets higher, the really good players get better, but the floor stays the same. So like a new player that's playing WoW is just as shitty as you were whenever you came into the game playing it, basically. Like assuming like there's no PC issues or, you know, it was like back before like the internet was like there was nothing on the internet to look stuff up for. Like there, yeah, The floor stays the same and the ceiling just gets higher.
Like, they don't have any. There are people that are even super invested in the community. They can't find anyone to play with. Most of the time, I log on, nobody wants to play. I have a friends list full of like gladiators and rank 1s and stuff. Like 90% of the time, nobody wants to play. So I just sit in LFG or I sit in Solo Shuffle, you know?
There you go.
Porofessor is an in-game desktop app. Once the game starts, Porofessor scouts your opponents. Learn how well they play their champs, how aggressive they are, and what blind spots you can exploit. Outsmart your opponents with Porofessor. Download the in-game desktop app now.
It's not a surprise at all.
When I want to play Overwatch, I just log on, game. Want to play Dota? Log on, game. 2 seconds. So I don't know exactly how we.
Yeah, you can immediately start playing the game without having to deal with a bunch of bullshit. And with WoW, there are so many barriers to entry, and raiding is the same thing. Like, it's just there's just too much in the game, man.
There, but I feel like
they're not MMORPGs, but WoW, yeah, and you're right. But like, those games compete for the attention of players that are interested in PvP. Like, for people that are like you guys, do y'all remember back in like Cataclysm where a lot of WoW PvPers quit WoW to play League and Dota? That was like a really big thing back then. Like, there were tons of people that moved over from like WoW over to League or Dota. There's a massive wave, and I remember like everybody was moving over, and like I was thinking about it. I didn't want to because I had just gotten Invincible, so it's like, well, I'm not gonna quit now. I just got this mount, and so I never played League or Dota. But yeah, a lot of people did. That's true. I forgot about yes. So like, while these other games are not MMOs, they are competing for the attention of players that would play WoW as an MMO if those games did not exist. People always complain there's not enough content. Now they're complaining there's too much. You can't win, dude. No, that's not true. When were people complaining there wasn't enough content? Because that wasn't happening in the context of PvP. Nobody was ever complaining, wow, I get my gear too fast. Shadowlands? Did you play Shadowlands? Wait, did anybody here actually put themselves through the fucking self-harm of playing Shadowlands? Because that's not what happened. In Shadowlands, you had to upgrade your gear with honor 50,000 fucking times just to use it. Everybody hated that. This is the exact opposite. That's why they changed it in Dragonflight. People don't remember anything.
I think that there is a good solo queue mode, and there's got to be like more convenience. Like, I really want more people to play WoW. I do. I love this game.
Not gonna happen.
I'm not shit talking. Like, I'm not shit talking. World of Warcraft is literally that. Like, I've dedicated my life to this game in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you play a lot. Yeah.
I love this game.
I played the game a lot too.
But it's success. But I feel like there's some.
I mean, he's been sitting in queue. Like, here's a fucking problem. You guys can't see it. But like, it says average wait time 17 minutes, time in queue 12 minutes. Like, this has been an 8-minute video. He's been trying to play one game. So what's the solution? There is no solution. You're not going to get new players for a game that gives you no clout, no money, no e-girls, and it's hard to learn. Like, that's just the truth. It's just not gonna happen. Like, fuck, guys. Like, I mean, really. Like, I'm just trying to be honest here. All right. You can't fix that. Yes. Well, you can, but they're not going to.
Hurdles that need to be jumped over, and I feel like there's got to be like some changes, like some big changes, and I hate add-ons. It's a different conversation, but I hate add-ons.
They should just take add-ons out of the game. Just take them out. Any add-on that changes the way that you view combat data, take it out of the game.
I think that the UI needs to be improved and add-ons need to be pruned from the game.
Yeah. My man.
I think.
Fuck yes.
If for no other reason,
absolutely,
than making it more accessible to new players.
Yes.
That
100 fucking percent.
It's an interesting take. I'm willing to change my mind on what I'm saying as well. Like, I'm not totally set in my ideas, but I do feel like I'm on the right track as to why it's hard for people to want to play,
Yeah, of course.
There's too many abilities right now too. Legion was the last surge of new players. The game stuck around and grew because it was most simplistic in recent times. I really do believe that. I'm not gonna lie. This is something we watched yesterday. You guys want to see it? I genuinely believe, with all of my heart and soul, that damage rotations in this game are way too complicated. Like, they are way too complicated. There's too many modifiers. There's too many cooldowns. There's too many abilities. And a perfect example is an Arcane Mage PvE guide. I'm going to show you this, okay? This is going to freaking blow your mind, okay? We're just going to watch this for a second. Imagine you're a new player and someone's trying to explain this to you, okay? You're like, I want to get into raiding. How do I do damage as an Arcane Mage? Let's watch.
Now let's head into this single target rotation. 15 seconds before the pull, you want to be spamming Arcane Explosion to fish for clear casting procs. This part may vary based on your haste levels, but in general, 9 seconds before the pull starts, you want to cast Evocation so you can start stacking Siphon Storm. At around 3 seconds, you want to cast a Rune of Power into an Arcane Blast precast and Arcane Orb. The pull has now begun, and we already have 4 Arcane charges, so we're ready to start our Arcane Surge burn. However, this burn will change based on if you have double Time Warp activated or not. So if you plan on popping double Time Warp, you want to immediately stack Arcane Harmony to 20, then continue with the burn rotation. If you aren't popping double Time Warp, then you don't have to worry
Has the fight started yet? Yeah, is this... the fight hasn't even started. Okay.
Arcane Harmony, it can immediately start with Radiant Spark when the pull begins. After Radiant Spark, we cast 3 Arcane Blasts into Arcane Surge and Nether Tempest. Now, if Time Warp is up, you want to cast Arcane Blast and Spell Q Arcane Barrage into it. If you're not sure what it means to Spell Q, I'll have an explanation of it down in the description. If you're not in Time Warp, then forget about Arcane Blast. Barrage is traveling, but right before it lands. The reason that we pop Touch of the Magi while Barrage is traveling is so that we gain about an extra second of Touch of the Magi uptime while still benefiting from Barrage inside it. Also, Touch of the Magi itself gives us 4 Arcane charges, so right after Touch of the Magi, we want to follow a simple priority list. Nether Precision buffed Arcane Blasts, Clear Casted Arcane Missiles,
This is a
and
simple
regular Arcane
list.
Blasts. Now, due to Arcane Bombardment, if your target is under 35% health, you want to Barrage and have it land just before Touch of the Magi ends. Otherwise, use Presence of Mind to fit one last Arcane Blast into Touch. And finally, if you're in Double Bloodlust, you want to cast a Barrage on the last global of your Arcane Surge buff. Otherwise, just follow the priority list as usual, and once your Arcane Surge buff wears off, cast Shifting Power, and that's the end of the Arcane Surge burn. Now, I know this may be a lot to take in all at once, especially since the rotation changes so much based on if Lust is active or if the target's in Execute. My rotation without Lust or Execute, and then gradually start incorporating the other conditionals. To help you out with this, I created a cheat sheet that you can find in the description of this video, and it'll have everything you need to know about the rotation, so you can have that pulled up
Back
on the
in Wrath, what you needed to do is you would do, fucking for Arcane Mage, you would cast Arcane Blast. And you would do that 4 times. And then you would cast Arcane Missiles. And then sometimes you would get a proc, and you could cast Arcane Missiles again. Now, after that, you go back to Arcane Blast.
while practicing.
Bro, like, come on, man. Like, come on, bro. That is too much, man. Like, it's too much. I get it.
Yeah.
People, you want the rotations to be interesting.
And this is the thing, right? Is that WoW, the developers are trying to make the game rewarding for people that play it as a job. Good job. You've succeeded. They have succeeded in that, and it has happened. But here's the issue. Nobody else is gonna have any fucking fun.
Enough where you're not just playing classic spamming Frostbolt. I totally understand that. And maybe you don't even want the rotation as simple as like Wrath of the Lich King, where like you're spamming Arcane Blast, you have charges, you buff up, like your abilities are getting buffed by your charges, and then you know, use your barrage to dump your charges and reset, and if you happen to get a proc, you use it. Like, I feel like there's enough complexity there, or it's still fun, but like Legion was a good example too, of like the rotations weren't too ridiculous, but now
No, they weren't that bad. It's like back in the day, you know, if you were playing a Warlock in Classic WoW, your rotation, you could do your rotation with the garage door opener. You just Shadow Bolt, Shadow Bolt, Shadow Bolt, Shadow Bolt, Shadow Bolt. Done. All right, boss is dead. How'd I do? All right, pretty good. And that's it, because a lot of people played that.
it's like, it's crazy.
I got a 99.
So, yeah. Anyways, that's what I think.
Pre-pull, what you want to cast it before the boss gets pulled, so you can get the first foot in there earlier. And that's about it.
think there's like some challenges that face World of Warcraft. And like I said, I love this game, but the rotations for some things are a bit convoluted. Yeah, 100%. Legion had so much choice just because everything did stuff. Like half your buttons don't.
ID say rotations for some things are a bit convoluted.
A little bit, yeah. I'm not even joking. You need like a 4-year college degree to be able to DPS as arcane. It's literally like a 4-year college degree to DPS as an arcane. Yep. Way too crazy. Exceptions. I mean, I was looking at. Let me see if I can find it. I made a list of frost mage abilities. These are just attacks. Look at that, okay? This is Frost Mage after the rework. Yep. As a Frost Mage after the rework, these are your attack buttons. These are all things you need to have keybind to do damage. You need to have Frost Bolt, Ice Lance, Flurry, Frozen Orb, Blizzard, Cone of Cold, Frost Nova, Fire Blast, Arcane Explosion, Blast Wave, Ray of Frost, Glacial, Ice Nova, Comet Storm. Ebon Bolt actually got pruned. They literally pruned it. So Ebon Bolt did get pruned.
Making the game easy again,
then for your water elemental alone, you need Water Jet Keybind, you need Pet Attack Keybind, you need Pet Freeze Keybind. And if you happen to PvP, you also need to use Ring of Fire, and you also need to use Frostball. And these are just attacks. It's a lot. Now, I've heard people have the opinion that there are people that have the opinion that it's better to have more attacks, which means more options, which means higher skill cap.
No. The idea that you can only be good at a game if there's a lot of buttons in the game, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. How many buttons does Counter-Strike have? How many buttons does League have? MMO player logic? Yes. People are so fucking stupid, man. Again, it is people that want their 15-year time investment into a video game to matter. Well, guess what? Guess what? It won't, because everybody else quits.
Like, had that conversation with people.
Yeah.
But not much. I think compared to like, this is Legion. On Legion, you had spammable Arcane Blast, Explosion, and Barrage. When you got Proxy's missiles, you had Arcane Orb and CD, and Arcane Power, as your long range. You had 4 defenses, Temp Shield, Quiz Cloak, Ice Block, Greater Viz. Your utilities were Massive Viz, Triple Space, and Double Slow Spell. And it was the most fun.
Way too much. Like, it's just my opinion. I don't think you need Greater Invis. I don't think you need Temp Shield. You just need one of these. Get rid of Slow. Let's see. Probably get rid of one of the other ones. I think that's probably a little bit better. That's fine. It's a lot better.
This is literally one of the most fun specs I've ever played in my entire life. League of Legends has like, well, that's keep it simple. Like, it's like, why is League of Legends so fun to play? Like, why are MOBAs so fun to play? You have 4, 5, 6 buttons. Maybe then you add like flash or whatever. You have like 7 buttons. But every button does something.
Yeah.
Meaningful. Every button.
People hated the prune down. Remember what I said? I said that they were right for doing it.
That feels like it actually matters. There's been plenty of times actually where, you know, those little buttons. And listen, I understand, man. I get it. World of Warcraft is never going to be a game that has 5 buttons, but I feel like you could have like 20. You know, you could have like 20 buttons. But it's kind of a lot for casual gamers. Yeah, even 20 is fucking crazy.
I think it should have like 10 to 15. Like 10 to 15. It's an MMO. It's more complex. Like, I don't want to see. Like, you don't need, bro. The game was fun in vanilla, and it didn't have that many buttons. Like, that's it. I don't want to fucking play some piano. Please stop.
But it's better than a lot of people dislike because they pruned like iconic, really fun abilities.
And also keep in mind that even in vanilla WoW, there were a lot of bullshit abilities that you probably didn't really need. Like, I'm gonna give a hot take. I think Heroic Strike is stupid. It should have never existed. It's a shit ability. The way it plays is shit. Everything about it is shit. And they made a good decision in Cataclysm over they made it a secondary ability. Same with Cleave. It was a glorified auto. It's a yellow auto attack. It's like fuck. They convince people that this is gameplay. Also, Rend. I feel like we didn't really need Rend. I'm gonna be real. Don't need Rend, especially not in PvE. No reason to have it. Let's see. Besides that, oh fuck. Rend's great in PvP. Yeah, a little bit. But it's a cosmetic thing. Like only reason you use Rend is to make sure a rogue doesn't run away. That is the dumbest, like, so you put an entire ability in the game just to counter one class? Get the fuck out of here. That's a waste. Rend should be applied by an auto hit. Yeah, something like that. No, it shouldn't. It should just have deep wounds. That's it. It's all you need. Dots are interesting? How many? Maybe give people 50 dots. That would be so interesting, huh? Slam. Yeah, they should have... Slam shouldn't be in the game either. Yep, you're right. You've got fucking Bloodthirst, and you got Whirlwind. And you've got Cleave and Heroic Strike as fucking active attacks that are off GCD. And you have Hamstring. And Execute. That's it. Do we need anything at Revenge? Nope, take it out. Revenge sucked in Classic. Just take it out of the game. Overpower? Yeah, I guess Overpower would be alright. Moral Strike? Yeah. So that's about like, yeah, 8, 10 buttons. We got it.
It's not like, yeah. They pruned like really crazy important abilities. The biggest reason I can't play retail right now is the complex damage rotations. Complex damage rotations are not what makes combat fun for me. It's not what makes combat fun for a lot of people, man. Like, it should not be. I'm telling you, even if you want to have like a bunch of like utility
Somebody
spells,
says Rend is useful. It's spread with Thunderclap and it's crazy good damage with arms PvP bleed build. Bro, that was not in Classic WoW. That was in Wrath and Cataclysm. Like, you don't even remember. Like, you don't remember, like, please stop.
spells that are interesting, I'm down for that, but I swear the way you deal damage in this game is way too complicated.
It is.
I really believe that.
Yep.
I think most specs, their damage rotation is way too convoluted. There's way too many buttons that don't really do that much, but you're still forced to press. Like, how many spells do you think should be in a damage rotation? Like 5 single target?
1.
Like 2 or 3 AoE or something
one
like that?
Button. You did that one button until they
I had
did.
a lot of fun in TBC just pressing Ice Lance and Frostbolt.
Yeah. You just get them until they're done.
Choice, but you don't like complex damage rotations? Well, believe it or not, Arcane's damage rotation is significantly less complicated in PvP. It's still complicated. Like, the concepts are complicated, but the actual buttons you press are way less complicated. The complexity of the game is what is killing its popularity. Making it easier to play would pull in more people, but it would make it less appealing for people that can play for hours.
It's just also that it's the time wasting mechanisms. It's having to run back after a raid wipe. It's having to get somebody new for your raid, but you don't have a warlock, so you have to have 2 people go out and summon them, and then running back. It's clearing 10 minutes of trash. It's having a boss and one person does something wrong in a 20-man raid and everybody else dies. That's what's killing the fucking game as well. No, everyone's Soulstone's heroes to prevent the run back. They should put that in the base game. If everybody's okay, so let me get this straight. So this is now like a skill cap to avoid wasting. So like, you have to be good at not letting the game waste your... What the fuck are we talking? What the fuck is going on? Well, what if somebody releases? They clicked the wrong button. Oh, I accidentally released. Oh, okay, well, get a summoning stone down. Oh, we don't have a warlock. Okay, he's got to run back. The trash respawn, though. Oh, shit. What? Oh my god, what is this?
On end every day. I don't think that's true though.
WC predictions for the weekend.
I don't think that's true. In BFA they tried to make it easier to play and it had the opposite effect. I feel like Legion was pretty I feel like Legion had pretty clean rotations.
BFA was easier to play. You had like 50 different damage and like I don't know. No way.
I kind of agree with Knight.
They made WAD easier to play. Yeah.
I feel like all the specs that I played in Legion were like pretty. They were good.
Yes.
How do we get more people
Legion,
to play baseball? Let's make everyone use
complete.
T-bars. We actually had, this is kind of like a repeat of a conversation we were having earlier. But I think the biggest problem is it just takes a really long time to get into WoW. Like the major challenges WoW has is like if somebody watches WoW and then wants to play it, going from watching
that doesn't happen. So nobody watches a WoW arena and it's like, wow, this is fun. I want to play this. First they have to look up what happened. That takes 6 hours.
To playing what you're seeing is months of work, months and months and months and months and months of work.
Yeah.
And then also, even if you do all the work, like
you don't get invited.
Another challenge with WoW, and like I keep feeling like I need to say this because, like I said, I love this game, dedicated my life to this game, favorite game I've ever played in my whole life. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way.
On it now.
Even if you do everything. So here's another problem with WoW is even if you do everything, let's say you actually buy the game. You level up your character, you farm full honor gear and full conquest gear, you download all the add-ons you need, you set up all the add-ons you need. Everything is great. You just
working hard.
Everything. You spent weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months and months. You finally got everything. Most of the time, you're just gonna log in and not have anyone to play threes with, so you can't play. Or if you're gonna solo shuffle, it takes 30 minutes in queue. Yeah,
just keep in mind that Venruki just recorded a 19-minute video while he was in queue, as far as I know, for one game. And that's a fact. It's right there. You just watched it happen.
Hey.
Venruki is a legend. This guy has been playing WoW forever. Like, he's such a good guy. Please make sure to give him a like, give him a sub. He still plays WoW PvP. He needs all the help he can get, man. Like, you're gonna get fucking cucked by this game. The PvP, come on guys, let's go. Let's try to help Venruki out. You have a react content in the middle of arena queues. You watch one of the movies of Lord of the Rings. You know, like it's simple. Raider.io killed the game. No, it didn't. Raider.io had nothing to do with it. People, you don't know this. Like everybody is like, they always act like, what the fuck? People, nobody fucking remembers shit. In vanilla WoW, you would go to the banks of Stormwind and you would get inspected and either kicked out or invited to a group. Based off of a mage raid leader that sees a warrior in leather gear and assumes that you're a fucking idiot. In Burning Crusade, you would get invited or not invited based off of how much health you had because you had a lot of stamina and you had good gear. And guess what happened? You had people full of fucking arena gear, except for you had other people that had min-max tier 4 or tier 5 gear, never got invited. And then in fucking Wrath, of course, we had gear score. Then in Cataclysm, we had item level. And also at that point, we also had achievements, right? It's like, I remember I used to tell people that like getting Kingslayer was like getting a college degree. You could finally join raids. So it has, you were the one checking gear? No, I was actually the one getting gear checked at that point. But like in Classic, yeah. Like people, it's always been like this. It's always been like this. Like it was like this before Raider.io. It was before like this before fucking item level. It was like it was always like this. There was no magical mythical time where you just get invited into a group because you've got a great personality and you're ready, you're a go-getter. No, that doesn't fucking exist, man. And it never did. It was always the same shit. I don't know why they still have depletion in Mythic Keys. I feel like if you deplete a key in WoW, they should make it to where everybody's key goes down. Actually, yeah, that's what they should do. They should make it to where, like, if you deplete a Mythic Plus key, every person's key goes down by 1 level. Because, like, yeah, no, why not? I mean, I think it's kind of unfair. Sounds very fair because everybody takes the risk. Yeah, Like, I completely agree. Yeah, true accountability. Well, if you have one person that just wants to watch the world burn and depletes keys on purpose, maybe you should be able to see what their key is to see if they actually should care. You know, if you see somebody has like a 7, and like, you know, like, oh, this person doesn't care if it gets depleted or not. But yeah, I'm surprised that they haven't gotten rid of like key depletion. I've thought for a long time that key depletion was like really bad for WoW. But I don't know why, but Blizzard just like won't get rid of it. I think the reason why is because like people say, they're like, oh well, if you get rid of key depletion, well then what's the punishment for losing? You just spent 20 minutes and you lost, you just wasted 20 minutes. No risk, no motivation to push. There is a risk. You don't think that bro, do you not think wasting 20 minutes is not a risk? That's a huge risk. What do you mean? I think that's massive. The punishment's failing. Yes. Like, time is a risk. Yes, exactly. Wasting 20 minutes as a full-time jobber is awful. Yeah, and it's like, really, yeah, you're right. It's more like an hour. I think that, like, I've said this before about, like, WoW, is that I think that WoW has no respect for your time. And I think that's the case because of the way that they do Mythic Plus. Like, I mean, PvP I think is actually pretty good in terms of like wasting your time. But I think that for Mythic Plus and especially raiding, like in raiding, like this is my opinion. I think they should get rid of 80% of the trash, minimum. Get rid of 80% of the trash, and put a summoning stone in front of every boss, and have each character instantly respawn in front of a boss with full buffs as soon as they die. Well, after everybody else dies, like as a wipe. Having to run back, having to summon people into the instance. This is just, like, it just wastes my time. I don't want to do it. No. Talk about wasting 20 minutes on respecting time, still play Blizzard games. Well, I mean, if you've noticed, I've like kind of stopped playing WoW for that reason. Like, that's kind of the point, right? Is that like we would do things in WoW and things would take such a long time. And summons from our bosses, Warlock players fuming. Yes, fuck them. That's right. Remove Mythic restriction. Yeah, completely remove the Mythic restriction. Completely remove the cross-server restriction. Let people do whatever they want on day 1 of the patch. That's what I think. You're asking for a lot here? Why? Like, I'd be more likely to play the game if that was the case. Because, like, whenever I play WoW, what I do is that whenever I'm not doing a boss, I'm thinking about the fact that I'm not doing the boss. And that I'm in this raid at this point for a bullshit reason. It's the idea of meaningful loss of time. Well, yeah, and that's why I stopped playing. That's my point. A meaningful loss of time for me is that I stopped playing the game. Of course. Most people enjoy the thrill of possible punishment, and if they're playing MMOs, they probably have time to burn. Well, then why is retail WoW fallen off? And why have games that don't do that become more popular? Like, I don't know. I think that's a pretty big indicator. People called you crazy for wanting mixed pools of players for Ally and Horde for raiding guilds. Now people love it. WoW players don't know what's best for them. I think that the problem with WoW players and a lot of MMO players is that they're so attached to the things that they work hard for that they don't understand that the journey to work hard for those things wasn't rewarding, and they just did it because they were addicted to the game. So like things like completing 250,000 honorable kills, stuff like that. Like, this is basically the same as, like, I have no respect for my time, right? Like, that's basically what you could replace the title with. I think also, like, players have such, like, they want to make sure that their achievements in the game are held in high regard, so they don't want to make the game more approachable to new players, because if the game is more approachable to new players, then their achievement comparatively means less, because other people can get it, and it's easier to get it. Does that make sense? Weren't you like that before? Yeah, I think whenever I was younger, I was more like that. But, you know, I got older and smarter and, you know, I got better perspective on it. And that's, you know, that's why I say what I say now. Yeah, I grew out of it. Yeah. Back then, the indicator of what was a waste of time wasn't really there. Nowadays, if dev finds a way to waste 20 minutes, we just go away. Well, I think it was. It's just that comparatively, and also like in WoW, like WoW was the massive time saving game because in other online and like Neverquest at the time, like they wasted way more hours, and like you would use items sometimes, like it was really bad. So like WoW was actually seen as the like that was like the main that was just being most played and people that couldn't handle it or played. But the truth is that as soon as people played worse than it was like not a time waster, they immediately moved over and played it because it was better. Something like EverQuest perspective would change. Well, I think that also like a lot of times people like something because they don't have any frame of reference of something that was better. So like, have you ever had like a game or something like that, or something you did that like, oh wow, I thought this was great, and then you learn about something else that like expands your worldview, and you're like, wow, this is way. So what's the least time wasted in your opinion? I would say right now probably Final Fantasy 14. Almost, I used to like to say Lost Ark, but I don't really think that's the case. I mean, in terms of raids, it's like very much like a mixed bag. Like, there are good things about Lost Ark that don't waste your time at all, but I think that almost all the good things are also in Final Fantasy 14, whereas nothing like the bad things. I think that in general, like, gaming has gotten a lot more quality, and there have been a lot more people that have come into gaming. And because a lot more people have gotten into gaming, that's why I think people are also more okay with microtransactions too. Because, these are people that are for stupid shit in like the real world for consumerism. So like if you're playing now, well, guess what? It's not like a free class, it's not well, I think it's a sense of satisfaction. Like playing a game and like getting satisfaction out of it is what really matters to me about. The difference is very apparent to you, others isn't. It's just a different opinion. Feel the same about hardcore. As a wooden player, enjoy it. I wouldn't care if other people played hardcore. Well, no, I don't really care what somebody else does. I just think that, again, if you play a game that arbitrarily wastes your time because of something that's out of your control, that you have no respect for your time. Especially like in such an extreme way. Like obviously you can have somebody wipe a raid or whatever, but to waste like hours or days of time, absolutely not. The reason I don't enjoy Tarkov Lives is it deletes everything you earn. It's enjoyable to play. What's the point? I don't mind that as much because it's part of the game. But like whenever something happens that you can't control is what the issue is. There's like a mechanic where you can't push your hardcore rounds. I think that they should have that in general. Like PoE has that, where like if you die in hardcore, your character goes to softcore rounds. I don't know why Diablo doesn't have that. I feel like that's just a better option. What's the key difference between hard mechanics and race mechanics? So this is the way that I see it. So what I consider like a hard mechanic and a wasteful mechanic is like wasteful mechanics make you go backwards, and hard mechanics make you go back to where you began before you began the mechanic. If that makes sense. Things that are wasteful, I think it's like you have to go back and like refarm a bunch of bullshit, do a bunch of other things. That's what I don't like. It's like having to go back and redo the same thing just so I can get a basically backwards. Jump King and Omnia, well, I quit both of those games because they're not fun. Like to me, I get satisfaction out of playing games, and I really enjoy them a lot. But whenever I'm playing a game and I make backwards progression, that link is just like immediately severed, like mentally. Like as soon as I realize like, okay, well, actually what I did doesn't matter because I just lost it, then I'm done. The time I've seen games was like the devs are doing it to make you pay for skips even if it isn't true. Dark Souls is the same thing though. The only person who would say that is the person who doesn't do it. And it's okay, right? I mean, maybe you can play it or whatever. It's like people always use like Dark Souls as an example, but they don't really understand the way that it's broken around. Well, I think the problem with WoW is that there are a lot of things in the game that, as I said, they just waste your fucking time.
sacrifice.
Damage in you, big dog, as a fucking healing monk.
Welcome to paradise. Whatever you do, be careful. Even paradise can have its secrets.
CarParts.com has everything I need for my projects, whether I'm working on my truck or fixing the family car. And with fast shipping, they make finding the right parts easy.
CarParts.com, for every part of your journey.
Fun things to do that you're basically only going to use while leveling.
Yep.
And I'm not sure why they didn't follow up and try to do this again, outside of what they did with the Covenant abilities.
They're lazy.
But honestly, all of the Covenant abilities are very tame compared to what the zone perks would give you. Although it wasn't just the player's power while leveling, as sure, you were really strong while leveling in Warlords of Draenor, but also Warlords really went all out with treasures and introducing the bonus objective system.
Yes.
Where while you're randomly questing, you'll get a bonus objective.
How many bosses were left? I don't want to do it tomorrow. How many bosses were left? I don't want to do it tomorrow. I don't want to do it anymore. Honestly, I just don't want to. It should.
Warlords of Draenor, but also Warlords really went all out with treasures and introducing the bonus objective system.
Yes.
Where while you're randomly questing, you'll get a bonus objective that pops up, and if you complete it will just give you a crap ton of experience. It was so much experience that you could skip leveling normally and just do bonus objectives.
It was so cool, man. Like, they completely redid leveling. It was so good. I remember at the beginning of WoD, man, dude, I would try to play the game all day. I was so happy.
Same with treasures. There was a whole bunch of treasures littered throughout all of the zones. And while the treasures themselves only gave minor cosmetic items or a little bit of garrison resources,
they give you experience.
They would also give you about as much experience as completing a quest.
Yep.
Before Blizzard
sometimes
later
more.
On. Leveling through Warlords of Draenor was the fastest old expansion to level through because you could just skip traditional leveling entirely.
Yep.
By just collecting treasures and bonus objectives.
It was so cool.
And that was on top of the leveling itself also being excellent. Now, I know Warlords of Draenor gets lots of crap for some of the worst writing of all the expansions and for how tired everyone was of the garrisons.
That's true.
But these were both actually really good at the start. While you first build up your garrison, you could recruit followers that would help you out for missions out in the open world. And since the original soft cap was around 20 followers, that meant you had to go out and collect a lot of different people in order to hit that first soft cap.
I thought it was cool being able to go out and collect all of the followers. Did you guys like that? Because now the way you get followers is it's like, oh, well, you know what? We just gonna go on over to Torghast and, oh, look who it is. It's the new follower. And that's it. And like now, like then, like there were actual little quest lines that you would do to rescue each follower. There was like one guy that was in a cage. It's like Admiral Taylor and a few other ones. That was cool. Yeah, these were actually like this is like really cool. Yeah, Solaire is a follower. Yeah, you can get Solaire Vanderhall from the you can get the Lunar Hall to like to bring in more followers.
And most of them were creatures you would find out in the open world that you just help with side quests, which really gave you a lot more of an incentive to want to do side quests, because there wasn't always an option that it might be a follower.
Yeah.
And since you needed so many of them, more than half the time it was a follower you could recruit. I don't think WoW has really incentivized doing side quests as much as Warlords of Draenor.
That's true.
Because they led to either a new follower for your garrison,
got something good,
a huge amount of extra experience with the side objectives.
Oh yeah.
Or just a normal big amount of experience for finding a treasure. Even doing the little puzzle that was required in order to get to most of them without flying. And then there was also the story, which was actually pretty good in the leveling experience. Warlords was the only expansion that had full cinematics for every zone. And some of them were very iconic and memorable to this.
This is fucking bullshit cinematic. I want to say this right now. Like, I get so mad whenever I watch this cinematic, because Thrall is he's such a bitch, man. Like, he played like such a bitch. It's like, imagine if Garrosh just went out and got a gun and just shot Thrall. Like, instead of like having the fucking the sword fight, he just like, he pulls out his axe and then he pulls out his fucking submachine gun and he just pops that stupid bald ass off. Really, I'm serious. Like people would have been pissed off. They'd be like, man, this is bullshit. But somehow whenever Thrall does it, everybody's like, yeah, fuck that, man. This cinematic was such bullshit. Garrosh should have brought a gun.
Day. especially the ending to Nagrand, which had Thrall
shoot
and
him in the
Garrosh
dick.
fight each other. It's probably one of the most well-known and loved in-game cinematics.
Not loved.
And it was shown at the end of a leveling zone.
Yeah.
There's also the whole story with Gunnar, where for the Horde questing
Gunnar
for
was
Crossfire
cool.
Ridge, you go around helping out Durotan's brother, who was the uncle of Thrall.
Yep.
And throughout the zone, he'll come in and help you fight back the Iron Horde. And he does such a successful job at it that he thinks he should be the one that leads the Frostbolt clan. So halfway through the zone story, he goes up to Durotan and challenges him to a mock Garra in order to be the new chieftain.
I don't
And
remember this.
instead of Durotan getting mad at him, or just talking him out of it peacefully by saying,
Yeah.
we're brothers, we shouldn't be fighting, or something else cliche.
Something, yeah.
What he actually does is he just throws down his weapons and walks up to him and basically just tells him to do it. He just says, if you want to be war chief so bad, just kill me. But see how many people follow you after you kill your brother. And since Gunnar wasn't expecting this, he just put his weapons away and said, damn son, that's not how it's supposed to go down. Okay,
Got
fine,
outplayed.
you're chieftain. And then
Yeah.
he begrudgingly follows Durotar for the rest of the zone, where you go around trying to clean up the third oldest brother.
That's smart. He checks him? Got cheat checked. That's actually, I didn't remember that. I only went through the Horde storyline like once, so I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah, it was
And he's the one who's leading the Iron Horde here.
Wow.
At the very end of the quest line itself, the Iron Horde is about to send their army massively to the upgrade battle. The Frostwood clan is incredibly military and is crazy really first. So they try to tactically have one of their legendary towers that are basically collapsed, which would allow them to come down to the other side with their numbers and basically take the area for themselves before reinforcing another one. However, the men were getting real close to the shaman in order to stop this whole plan from happening, and the Frostbolts were losing quickly. So Durotan knew the only way for them to win was if he took a small group of their most elite soldiers and basically stalled. But at the cost of dying along the rock face, and Gunnar held them back and just runs in by himself. And then the cinematic for the zone, which details Gunnar's solo suicide fighting a battle he which won them the battle ultimately when they successfully.
That's so badass.
This zone has one of the
That's so cool, man.
It goes from you having to rescue Gunnar and traveling through the time.
Dude, he's just popping off.
Watching him challenges brothers to seeing him give up his life in order to save him. And I was so impressed by this. Right? I even made a video about Gunnar back in World War II.
That's so cool.
Specifically to share with everyone else in my.
See, this is why people used to play the Horde. These stories are why people used to play Horde. Now, why do people play Horde? Like, now they play Horde because it's better racial. Because it's so honest. Because it's fucking Sith and an elf. They're furry. Like, it's sad what's happened to the Horde, man. It's really sad.
It's not an exaggeration to say that the leveling war was great.
That's badass.
The best new content expansion level. It's at the peak for how to start off an expansion. And just like how the Timeless Isle set the standard for how to create a new zone expansion, it basically did everything right. It provided multiple avenues to level your character and gave you a whole bunch of strong new abilities that you could use just long enough to like, but then giving you a new one immediately to play. It increased the power level of your character, it encouraged exploration with how much experience and treasures gave and how almost all the side quests were working over, and had interesting stories to tell. There's also the story of Ishtar in this spine as well, the story with Velen and Shadowmeld, the story of Mirage and
I thought the Velen one was stupid. Like, I hate it whenever there are stories that have two versions of the same thing. Like, in my opinion, I think anytime you have two versions of the same character, I'm always mad. It's always stupid, it's always confusing, there's always some sort of like weird fucking suspension of disbelief you have to have because the time, you know, fucking continuing thing doesn't make any fucking sense. It's silly, man. so you don't make DC. No, I've always thought like the multiverse theory and all of that, I think it's ridiculous. I feel like it's completely, I didn't like the in-game, the Marvel in-game. I don't, any time where you go back in time to do something, it always annoys the fuck out of me, and I don't like it, okay? No, the movie was good, right? I just didn't like the plot, that's all. Of course the movie was good, but I just didn't like the plot. It's annoying. It's always
over the top doc with truly dramatic. You can see why there was nothing but positive words to this level of experience.
True and real.
But that's not the only thing they did right. While War of the Draenor only had 3 raids in the entire expansion, 2 of the raids are some of the best raids you've ever gotten. Even the 3rd raid, High Mall, was also a good raid. But if you were to ask,
High Mall was amazing. Is this guy high? Like, dude, fucking High Imperator Marduk, in my opinion, on Mythic, is one of the best boss fights of all time. Like, it's up there with, like, Kale Thos. It's better than Illidan. It's like, I remember whenever my guild first did it, I wasn't in for the first kill. I forgot why. I don't know, it was like a long fight to it. But it was like a 17 or 18 minute fight. Imagine that. A 17 or 18 minute fight, and you finally kill him, and then Cho'Gall shows up, and then you have to fucking 1v1 or 1v20 really, Cho'Gall. It was so badass, man.
To me, my absolute favorite raid in WoW's history that I've personally done,
I love High
I would
Mall.
probably have to say Blackrock Foundry, the second raid that was released in WoW.
BRF was brutal.
Blackrock Foundry did something that no other raid has done since.
Yeah.
They went ham on unique boss fights. Hans and Franz is still wholly unique in its belt mechanic.
I remember whenever this came out, remember back whenever I first started streaming, if any of you guys watched me back then, and I would do this boss fight, and I would say avoid every single time that we would have to do the stance, and people would get hit by him every single time. And, dude, it was so fucking fun, man. Like, BRF, the thing with BRF is, like, it was really, really hard. Like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but that shit used to be different. It was not like a joke raid, and even after you kill, I think the Black Hand was just like, I think Black Hand was so much harder than any of the other bosses that really, if you killed the Black Hand, the rest of the raid would be a joke, as soon as your guild would be that good. But even for like guilds that had most of the raid on farm, those farm bosses were not a pushover. Yeah, but you guys remember Blast Furnace? I would spend 2 hours doing Blast Furnace every single night because I used to do these runs for the Iron Hook Destroyer for people so they would get them out. And we would do Blast Furnace. And it was such a fucking disaster. Every single time it was a fucking disaster. Always on Blast Furnace. And nobody knew how to do it.
Where basically you're fighting 2 bosses at the same time. And while you're fighting them, you're in a room which has a constant conveyor belt effect.
This is such
on
a
the
good
conveyor
fight.
belt, there's stamps that will occasionally
I love
come
this
down
fight.
and either damage you on lower difficulties or instantly kill you
Delete
higher
you.
ones.
Absolutely
And while there were
delete
little
you.
sections of the fight where you could stand still and not be on the conveyor belt, occasionally void zones would come out anyway.
Yep.
There's even a section of the fight where you basically just have the safety dance and just move
This
out
was so
front
fucking funny.
to the conveyor belts.
And like the best thing about these fights, I love things like this, like the safety dance, is because you get to see who the real idiot is. You get to see who the real fucking stupid asshole is. You get to see what the real fucking dumbo dick sucker dumbass is. And you get to see him, and he's running up, and then you see his little corpse. Oh, it was amazing. I love that thing.
There's also Orgorges, which had you fight in a little maze. Periodically throughout the fight, you would just start rolling around, which made the entire raid have to run around the little maze and do these crates so you keep or win them and phase.
It was really good.
This is another fight which is wholly unique. You had to split up the raid in order to run around and beat the crates. And of course, avoid the boss who's rolling around trying to kill you. So that you could have enough in order to end the phase before he rolled over and just killed everyone. Blackhand himself, the final boss, was also pretty unique for the time. While the fight itself was pretty generic, they did have a gimmick to the fight where every phase of the fight happened on a...
Blackhand was also... I think Blackhand is probably one of the best in-game boss fights of all time as well, because it was the complete opposite of High Imperator. So High Imperator was a 17.5 minute dick clincher. Blackhand was a 7-minute DPS race. If you go back and you watch the world first kills for Blackhand, and you watch the optimization that they had to do in order to actually do the damage against the boss, it was unreal, man. Like, you had to have different hunters using this aspect of the fucking fox or whatever where you could run and cast, while at the same time you had moonkins using stampeding roar so they could run around in a circle and avoid all of the casts. Watch it. I'll show you just the first, what do you call it? The first phase, okay? This is how ridiculous this fight was.
You destroyed my furnace. Now, my furnace will destroy you.
So basically, those bombs, you just needed to pretty much not get hit by those. They were super easy to deal with. And then he's going to do this demolition, where I think he knocks the tank back, and this is where everybody runs. See, they're all running, and they're moving in a circle, avoiding all of the different swirly boys while they're all casting. That's why they have all the hunters rotating aspects of the fox. And then immediately, as soon as that happens... Yeah, look at this. So they had to use that, and then immediately they had the boss moving over to there, and they were clearing bombs right there. Obviously, you can see they move right behind the debris, and they're able to get away from those casts as well. And then he does demolition again. Watch the ranged. Watch the ranged. It's like watching fucking synchronized swimming, and they're just moving out of every single one of them. This fight was so intense that you couldn't even really bring a warrior or a DK at the very beginning. That's how hard it was.
Second potions.
And you would also see that the entire ground was getting smaller. Like everything was, there was fire everywhere. And so if you didn't kill him fast enough, you would literally just burn to death from the environment. It was so insane, man. And so then also I'll show one more thing. As soon as, so they basically got through the phase. After you get through the third one, it's pretty much GG. But if you get a fourth one, it's also GG because you literally can't go out there anymore.
And wipe.
But it's stupid.
We will rebuild this place.
So right here, whenever they fall down, they're using moon boys in order to flap, in order to already get to the balconies where these NPCs are at. And then look at everybody's health. By the way, look at the raid frames there. Everybody's health is like literally like fucking 2 and 1% health. That's how brutal it was. So you would go down here, and the moon boys would be flapping, and they would get up to the balcony and automatically start killing the NPCs at the top.
To put you back together.
And then you also had like hunters disengaging over to deal with them as well, because these guys would like shoot at the ranged. Yeah, dude, this fight.
This prototype has double armor plating.
This fight was fucking ridiculous. And also, if you stood in those little fire things, I forgot to even mention that. If you stood in those little fire things, it gave you a debuff. You had the cleanse. And if you had like more than one debuff, you would just get instantly deleted, basically. And so, yeah, like, and also, like, oh, by the end of the fight, I'll show this part too. By the end of the fight, you're stuck on this crucible here, and the entire room. The entire room is completely covered in fire. Because he knocks everybody back. And also, everybody has to get knocked back, too. So look at that. Like, it was this is like one of the best fights ever. I'm not even kidding. Like, this is one of the best fights ever. And he also did the knockback. So you had to position yourself so you didn't get hit by the knockback, too.
March, just go to China.
Look at the ground.
Come on. Come on. Oh my God.
I like how that guy broke a plate. That was probably one of the coolest fights ever. And like the reason why it was so fucking badass, the reason why I think it was so badass is because it was so completely different than any other boss fight than we had ever really had for an in-game boss fight. Nobody expected that it would just be ridiculously fucking hard. Like, everybody expected, like, boss fights to be super long, like 20-minute boss fight or whatever. And this was the complete opposite of it. It was amazing.
Different level of the boss room. Phase 1 would be on the top level. When you transition, he would just break the floor and take you to the second level.
Yeah, and
once the second phase is over, he would break the floor again and take you to the bottom level, where you had to deal with knockback mechanics that could instantly kill you if you fell off into the lava.
Yeah, we had that
and
happen a lot.
It was such a loved final boss fight. It was kind of softly copied again for Castle Nathria. And Blackhand was appropriately difficult in its hardest difficulty, being one of the hardest boss fights of all time.
I never thought about it.
And then there's everyone's favorite boss fight of the expansion, Operator Thogar.
This was actually, I think, probably the coolest fight. I remember they did like a poll. Wowhead did a poll on this or somebody, and this was the coolest boss fight that everybody voted for. And by the way, I never got hit by the trains on this one. I never did.
You would find him in a room with 4 train tracks, and periodically throughout the fight, trains would just come out and kill anyone that was in its path. And sometimes trains would come and stop in order to deposit ads at you to fight. And basically, the entire fight was just dodging trains and killing ads that came from those trains. And if you didn't kill them fast enough, then too many trains would come in and kill you while you were trying to get the others to
And
go
on
away.
Mythic, they would just instantly kill you.
Unique boss fights can be a good or bad thing. People complain a lot about Hans and Franz for giving them motion sickness.
Yeah, that
which
was
is
a problem.
probably why they
That's
never did
definitely
something like that again. But Blackrock Foundry was a testament to creative boss mechanics. I don't think a raid has really matched Blackrock Foundry's level of just pure amount of unique fight sense.
See, like, I used to be really good. Like, I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. Look at this. This was back in the day. That was your boy Asmongold right there. I used to raid back then. I was big dicking it.
The thing is, the raid after Hellfire Citadel was also a top-tier raid.
Hellfire Citadel was
good. You see,
good.
in Hellfire Citadel, Blizzard made some of the most complicated fight mechanics that we've ever made in boss fights.
Hellfire Citadel was awesome. The reason why people don't like Hellfire Citadel is because it lasted for like 2 years or something. The raid was good, objectively.
And they were so complicated because add-ons at the time allowed them to show you a lot more information inside of raids than they do today. I still have some footage from back in the day when we were doing Mythic Cormorant.
I hated this fight.
Where there was a phase where everyone in the raid had to run to a
the
specific assigned void zone in order to soak.
Yep.
And the way you would deal with this mechanic was just to have an add-on to literally have an arrow on the screen that would point you exactly where you needed to go.
This is so stupid.
As it was set up before the fight started. During the final fight with Archimonde, there was a mechanic where it'd shoot lasers through people.
Oh, dude. The mythic mechanic. So apparently the Blizzard intended way of doing it was for everybody to fight Archimonde in a huge circle. And so nobody would like chain, and so everybody would be staggered out. But players didn't even do that. They just developed an add-on so where you could just stand still and just move slightly. I'll be right back.
Where you only wanted the lasers to go through the 2 people selected. So you had to coordinate yourself in a way so it would only pass through those 2 people and not anyone else.
Yeah.
And at the mythic difficulty, this basically went on everyone at once.
This boss was
so
ridiculous.
You had to coordinate the entire raid in order to not allow
nuts.
a single laser to overlap and hit anyone, which was basically accomplished through an add-on. There's also Shadow Lord Ishkar, which had a mechanic where you had to throw around an item that gave you an extra action button in order to interact with all the mechanics of the fight.
You know, in case
While
anybody...
it may not be as good as Blackrock Foundry, it was still also an excellent raid. And it was basically
good
the
times.
upper limit for how difficult boss mechanics could be. There hasn't really been a raid with mechanics as difficult as Hellfire Citadel since. But
mechanics as difficult as Hellfire Citadel since. Yeah, Tomb of Sargeras. Yeah, Tomb of Sargeras was fucking ridiculous. Also, yeah, Ashar's Eternal Palace was really hard. And I think like Mythic Helya is like 3 3 Hellfire Citadel bosses put together. Like Mythic Helya I thought was awesome. Unat, yeah, well Unat's like 1 boss. Yeah, it's the same as Helya, it's like 1 boss. Vanilla Nax is harder. True, dude. That was whenever the good players played the game. All the good players quit.
at the time, they weren't that big of a deal because of how great add-ons were.
Yeah.
And instead, they were just kind of well-liked. And Archimonde himself proved to be a huge challenge as a final boss.
He's
I think he
ridiculous.
took number 8 on my list of the hardest bosses of all time.
Took him like 400 attempts or something.
So,
460
when
attempts.
it came to raid content,
It's a lot.
it was actually excellent. The reason the raids aren't talked about as much as some of the more iconic ones, like maybe Old War or ICC, is because the expansion itself has a negative rap.
True.
Which means it's not a good idea to talk about the positive aspects.
True.
Because talking about negativity just straight up gets more clicks and views than talking about positives. Even if people did talk about the positives, they just aren't heard by as many people as all the negatives. And there's also
I think that generally negativity doesn't... I've always disagreed with the idea that negativity is like fundamentally more attractive to people in some way or another. I've just never... I've never agreed with that. I think that there's plenty of positive videos that are also very popular. But other than that, yeah, it's generally true. I don't know, you get people like drama. But like also, I mean, look at some of the most popular videos on YouTube. They're like cat videos and like they're not negative either. So I don't think it's really that simple.
Also lots of features that were introduced in WoD that many people still enjoy to this day. Warlords was the expansion that upgraded the heirloom tab, which basically allows you to equip heirlooms on brand new characters without having to mail them.
Yeah.
They also added a tab for toys and tabards, so you no longer need to hold them in your inventory. Warlords also improved the flight path. Before Warlords of Draenor, if you wanted to fly from one place to another, and there wasn't a connecting flight path discovered, then you would be unable to fly there until you got the connecting path. But with WoD, they made it so even if you did not have the connecting flight path,
you just can't land
could
there.
still fly to the path you did have. And with the new stop flight button, a button so useful they even added it to the no changes classic WoW. This button appears when you get on a flight path, and when clicked, automatically cancels your flight, causing you to stop flying wherever you're going
That was
and
really
land
useful.
at the next stop that you have known.
I always like that.
Forgot to get something in your bank mid-flight? Well, cancel and go back. No longer have to wait for your entire flight to finish. They also added a thing called mercenary mode. See, sometimes one faction has way more players than the other in PvP.
Sometimes one faction, I wonder which faction that is. Fuck Horde, man.
And because of this, that one
Horde
faction has
sucks.
insanely long PvP queues. So Merc mode allowed players of the opposite faction to queue for a PvP member of the other faction, in a way to help reduce queue times. This feature was so well liked that players have been asking for it to be usable in PvE modes as well.
That's true.
To cut back on how
There's been a lot of
Horde-dominated
conversations
high-level
about that
playing.
recently.
WoD was
A lot
also
of
when they
people have talked
updated
about
character models from all the vanilla and TBC races.
Oh,
These
yeah.
models kept true to their original feeling while updating them into the new era.
I think that now, like now that the new models have been in the game for so long, I do think the new models are definitely they're better than the old ones. There's some of them.
That's a good thing to cast when you're slow. It's like, fuck, I can't get it. Alright. Bird out, you know what I mean? That guy's so wrong. Fuck that. Quick.